The Cleveland Guardians continue to see success season after season despite being a small market team and having owners that don't want to spend money to keep stars around. How is that possible? Well, the front office and scouting department have built up what to me is the best farm system in the league. And some people even go as far as calling the Guards the Cleveland pitching factory. No matter who is up in the bigs, they always have a replacement in the minors who is ready to come up behind them and produce. And so far in 2024, it looks like many of the prospects are beginning to break out. And if the pitching can stay healthy, this is a team that's ready to go on a big run. They currently have a 19-8 record, and after taking one from the Braves, who are the best team in the league according to most, I think they are proving just how legit they are, whether people want to believe and accept it or not. Before I get into everything in this video, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 20k subscribers, and with your support, I believe we can get there super fast. Alright. I could take things back even further, but for my sake, I'm going to start this video off in 2016, the year the Indians made their World Series run. That season was so magical, and they had so many players up and down the roster that contributed in so many ways. Lindor was obviously the face of the franchise, but Jose was on the come up. They had Mike Napoli, who was a beast and was the clubhouse guy. They had Michael Brantley in left. They had Kipnis. They had Roberto Perez and Yan Gomes at catcher. And they had guys like Rajai Davis, Brandon Guyer, and a loaded pitching staff led by Cy Young winner Corey Kluber. I'm so mad, just like everyone, that the Indians didn't win the World Series. They had a 3-1 lead, and a rain delay in Game 7 really killed them. But at the end of the day, this team was magical and put together so many fun memories. But the front office knew exactly when it was time to break up this team and start something new. Everything I go over in this video isn't going to be completely in timeline order, so bear with me because it's hard to look up and keep track of every single detail, but in 2019, Michael Brantley left to go to Houston, and this move honestly stung. Dr. Smooth was a vital piece to the team, but he was getting older and was injury prone. And for Cleveland, he wasn't worth the money he wanted. And even though this move sucked, it honestly worked out because he was injured a lot during his time on the Astros. And this was really the start of Cleveland really changing over the roster. In 2020, the front office made a crazy trade, sending Mike Clevenger to the Padres for Cal Quantrill, Josh Naylor, Austin Hedges, Gabriel Arias, and Owen Miller. Just an insane trade, and the Indians did a fantastic job of developing these guys, and 3 of them are vital players for this current Guards team. I really can't remember too many bad moves that this front office has made. They did get rid of Yandy Diaz for nothing, and a few other things like that, but overall, they have been top-notch with their decisions. The next move I want to talk about is the Francisco Lindor trade, which was another heartbreaking one for all of Cleveland, because at the time, we knew nothing about Andres Gimenez. In that trade, Cleveland got Ahmed Rosario, who was pretty serviceable during his time in the land, Gimenez, as I just said, and 2 other prospects. And Lindor signed an outrageous deal with the Mets to keep him there for the rest of his career. And now looking back on this trade in 2024, Cleveland won big time. They got a better bang for their buck, and you can argue that Gimenez produces more than Frankie. But nobody will ever forget what Lindor did during his time in Cleveland. It was legendary. Next, the Indians had to get something in return for Corey Kluber, who they knew blew out his arm from all the deep playoff runs they had. So they traded him to the Texas Rangers for Delino DeShields and Emmanuel freaking Clase. Another huge win for the franchise, and really, the core for the future was starting to be built. And along with all of this, they continued to hit on their draft picks and develop pitching in the minors. Shane Bieber was on the come up, and Tristan McKenzie was following right behind him. And they were both studs for many seasons to come. And as we of course know later on, more towards 2023 and 24, Logan Allen and Tanner Bibee also became league ready. And then there's a lot of unknown about Gavin Williams, but he is a huge prospect dealing with injuries right now that is supposed to become the face of this pitching staff very, very soon. And it really sucks that Shane Bieber is already done for the season, because with how the Guards are hitting, it was going to be exciting having that along with a dominant pitching staff. But we will see what the young guys behind him can do throughout the course of a long season. Anyways, another big move the Guardians made was of course the decision Jose Ramirez made to take the hometown discount and stay in Cleveland for the rest of his career. He will always be remembered for doing that no matter what happens, and he is the perfect leader and example setter for the guys coming up behind him. He loves the game, is an extremely hard worker, does things the right way, runs the bases hard, and of course is one of the best hitters all around in the game. So basically, if you haven't got the gist of things, Cleveland always has had stars over the last decade, and they always pick the right time to get rid of them and bring new ones in. I know they haven't won a World Series yet, unfortunately, doing this, but it feels like they are due. And they have put together some exciting teams that many other small markets haven't been able to do. The farm is just so good, and the coaching in the minors are so good at developing talent, and the scouts are so good at finding it. Anyways, talking more about this current 2024 season, I made a video 2 months ago, before the first game, talking about how the Guards were going to be the most surprising team. And man, was I right. There is just so much talent throughout the roster. They got their clubhouse guy back in Austin Hedges, and really, with a new young manager in Stephen Vogt, there was just nothing but good vibes throughout this team. And there still are 2 young prospects named Chase DeLauder and Kyle Manzardo who are tearing it up in the minors and eventually will add even more depth to this roster. Starting off with the leadoff hitter, Steven Kwan really sets the tone for this team every game. He sort of reminds me of Ichiro in a way, and I might be crazy for saying this, but I think he can be even better because he's shown some pop early in his career. But he really does always set the tone with tough and frustrating at-bats. He always gets the job done no matter the situation, and in the field, he is a gold glover. I hope the front office can lock him up for the long term because to me, he is a foundational piece. Then batting second most games is Jimenez, who I talked about the Guards getting in the Lindor deal, and he's already locked up for the long term, and he's one of the most clutch hitters in the game. He had a little bit of a slump last year, but he has bounced back so far in 2024, and I can't wait to see what's in store for him. Then at 3 is Jose Ramirez, and what do I even gotta say about this guy? He's the heart and soul of the team, but the big thing for him has been getting a guy by the name of Josh Naylor behind him. It has really lifted a lot of pressure off his shoulders, and because of that, he can swing freely in high pressure situations. Naylor has really become one of the best hitters in the league, and he's recently developed the ability to hit lefties a lot better, which was his one weakness. And on top of all that, he's an absolute dog and brings a ton of energy on the field every single game. I will never forget the game against the White Sox where he hit that second home run in extras and just went absolutely bananas, destroying things in the dugout. But anyways, one thing the Guards have really improved so far in 2024 that is the real reason for their hot start is the bottom of the order. They have Bo Naylor catching instead of Austin Hedges, who actually looks like a real MLB hitter at the plate. Then they have Tyler Freeman in center, who is so much better than Miles Straw. And then they have Will Brennan over at right, who is really starting to elevate the ball. And it has been so much fun to watch. I've always heard that he's one of the hardest workers you will ever find, and it's starting to pay off. And even a guy like Gabriel Arias is starting to become a decent hitter as well. And he is an elite infielder. I know it's super early in the season, but it's an exciting time to be a Guards fan. And this hot start doesn't seem like a fluke. They fixed so many of the problems they were having last year, and outside of injuries, I don't see this team falling off anytime soon. Now, obviously they probably won't keep up at this current pace, but I see them as a 90+ win team that will win the AL Central, and from there, anything can happen. That's really all I have for this video. I know I didn't go over every single detail, so I apologize if there was something I missed that you thought I should have went over, but if you did enjoy this video, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe, and also follow me on Instagram, because I'm starting to post content on there every day. And until next time, I will see you all later.